All right, guys, so now let's look at some complications. There's always complications, right? Unless we hit the sweep perfectly, there's going to be some defense on his part, okay? But it brings me to one other point. The point is, when you go for your sweep, you have to do the sweep with the intensity and with the belief that the sweep's going to work. Because what happens is, when you go for the sweep with that kind of intensity, or that kind of like faith in the technique, it causes him to make a reaction that's big enough for you to take advantage of. So for example, if I do a sweep and all it requires for him to stop the sweep is a small movement, it's only going to present me with a small opportunity. If I go for the sweep in such a way that for him to stop the sweep, he has to make a big movement. It's almost like he has to sacrifice some principles that he normally would keep, like in terms of keeping his arms close to his body or whatever, keeping himself in base. He has to do something in completely the opposite direction because he wants to stop the sweep. That creates new opportunities for me, okay? So whenever you go for your sweeps, go for it with the belief that that first sweep is going to work. Don't think about the counter or the variation until you have to, okay? And that part about not thinking, that really comes from drilling, because if you're doing too much thinking anyways, you're already too slow. This has to come naturally as a part of a drill. So these techniques, when you do them, make sure you do them as drills, not just trying to understand the technique, but making sure that it's part of your muscle memory, okay? So in this case, we're here, I brought him in, I broke his posture. Now he tries to rise up again, and I go all the way up, and as I go for this sweep, he lifts his hips all the way to the sky. You see? It's hard to sweep someone when their hips are all the way up like this. So I'm here, I don't want to abandon my sweep and start over. I take this hand and I go over his arm, under his thigh, right here, you see? I make this forceful push on the back of his arm, so it's like almost like a reverse arm lock against his arm, here. And my hand is inside his thigh, and now I scoot my hips out to the outside, okay? Now this arm is between his body and mine, but it's very weak here. He doesn't have any strength in this position to keep me away. So all I do is this hand that's on the outside, after I've scooted my hips out, I'm going to swing that over to his other side and free my left arm from here. So you see how I have this path towards his back? Now I just free my bottom leg right here, put that hook in on this side, and I step up and over with this one. And now I move back. Whether or not his arm gets trapped, this would be just a bonus. I'm not worried about it. Sometimes they'll just pull their arm out, and that's okay. You still take their back. Let's try that again. So I broke his posture. I have him here, and I'm putting weight on the back of his neck, trying to keep him down. He tries to raise up. I go all the way up. I go for my sweep. He lifts his hips up. And now I straighten this arm underneath, here to the side. Once I'm here, now I scoot my hips out and swing this arm over and free my left arm. Now I'm going to lift my hips so I can bring my leg inside and bring this leg out and take it back. Make sure when you get to this position, you move your hips back so you're not falling forward. So the key is when I put that hand inside the thigh, I want to keep my elbow facing the back of his elbow. So my elbow against his, and then I scoot my hips out. So my weight is coming down on the back of his arm. So it looks like this. Turn this way. Here. And his arm is here. It's like this. See? My weight pushing down on the back of his arm.